May 25th, 1977 saw the release of George Lucas's Star Wars, which quickly became a surprise blockbuster hit. Often regarded as one of the greatest and most influential movies ever made, it helped change the way movies were made and captured the imagination of a generation. Star Wars quickly became a pop culture phenomenon. Over the course of this series, I will be joined by a number of Star Wars fans from across YouTube and the toy collecting community, as we take a look back at their earliest memories of Star Wars and find out what made Star Wars great. Hello Toy Collector fans, Universal Toy Collector here, and welcome to the channel. And welcome to episode 9 of What Made Star Wars Great, the series where I get to speak to like-minded people about Star Wars from the YouTube toy collecting community to find out and hear about their first experiences with Star Wars and to basically find out what made Star Wars great. Now, when I say what made Star Wars great, it can be any kind of Star Wars. It can be the original trilogy. It can even be the sequels. Shut up, I'm only joking. Anyhow, joining us this week, it is Matt from Zero Hunter Toys. Hello, sir, how are you?
Hello, everyone.
All good?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, well, great. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. I really do appreciate you coming.
It's all right.
You made an invite in the end, didn't you?
I kept mentioning it. Yeah, might have.
Did you? I hadn't noticed. I hadn't noticed.
Never noticed.
You hadn't really well.
I love people. We all take the mick out of each other, don't we?
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. So you know why I'm doing this is to basically, find out what made Star Wars great. But the real reason I'm doing it is because there's been so much negativity around Star Wars, and I just want to hear your opinions briefly on whether those negative thoughts and vibes are just.
Yeah, they pretty much are. I mean, you know what? Well, I've not watched Acolyte. I refuse to watch it. So, and that's not like me because I usually watch everything, and I like the sequels. You know, there's little bits in it I don't like, but I put up with it. But I usually like most Star Wars. And you say, we're getting. I think a lot of people say that we're getting more Star Wars to enjoy it. But I refused to watch it. I just had a horrible feeling before it came out, and I cancelled Disney Plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not watching. I cancelled Disney Plus ages ago before it came out. What did I last watch on Disney Plus? I'm trying to think, and I said, "That's it. I'm not watching this anymore." I can't remember what it was, but it was
Mandalorian season 3.
No, I enjoyed Mandalorian. See, I liked Mandalorian season 3. People hate it, and I really liked it, which is weird. I think it was that one of the Marvel things that came out. Wasn't impressed. So
okay.
So yeah.
No,
that was it. Get rid of it.
When you say you can put up with it, I mean, what do you mean by that? You put up with it?
Well, some of the little niggly things that you see on some of the, you go, I want to, but you accept it, and you just, have to enjoy it, enjoy the good bits, look forward to the bits that you enjoy in it, and you love watching all the time. So
yeah,
because I think the thing with Star Wars, I've got this fascination with speed and movement. I don't know what it is about movement, but Star Wars always do move, spaceships moving and the way things move. Just something to do with like movement and constant speed. Star Wars always do it well, I think. And I think they always think it's something George Lucas has always had.
Well, he was always into fast cars, wasn't he? He's always into that kind of racing type sort of thing. I mean, you just got to look at his early film, American Graffiti, to know that he liked the cruising around, back in the was it 50s? It was set, I think. Was it?
Yeah, I think he. What was it? What was the film he did his apprenticeship on? Grand Prix. With James Garner.
Okay.
He did his apprentice. Yeah, he did his apprenticeship on that with a camera. So he helped on that. Yeah. So he loves loves those sort of films. Yeah.
So you've got the Lightspeed, how they filmed it within Star Wars the original trilogy, and then you have it how it was filmed in the sequels. Which do you prefer? Because I mean, yes, it does look great, but I mean, it's so used to seeing the ship with the lights just flashing by, then zooming off. You never ever saw a ship in Lightspeed, did you? Up until that point.
No, they couldn't get that special effects right, could they? But it is nice to see something different, isn't it? We've seen extra things that we haven't seen before, and we've seen multiple ships now in together, which is really great. Yeah. Because I always thought only one ship could do it, and they couldn't fly together like that. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
you
Then
are.
you see it in Star Trek as well, don't you? So kind of
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the way the sequels were done, especially the J.J. Abrams, the sequels, they were the sequels. The way J.J. Abrams did it, it was very reminiscent of watching, the ships in warp speed, wasn't it, in Star Trek? How we did it,
Yeah.
done it with light
Yeah.
speed. But
Yeah.
I mean, you've said for the most part that you do enjoy the sequels. I mean, a lot of people have been quite negative about those, and you seem to be the one in the community, or one of the ones in the community that kind of enjoy them. What was it about those sequels that you enjoyed?
I mean, Force Awakens just reviving Star Wars again. I mean, it was great. It felt if I mean, I like the prequels, but it looked very modern, didn't it, and polished and
Yeah.
very clean. Though it was trying to look, but it looked too clean. Force Awakens it did look kind of used world again, but you had the First Order.
Yes. Yeah.
But you just when it started off with Rey and in the desert, and I know it's kind of New Hope, but I just like that. And then seeing Mark Hamill come back in the second one, I just enjoyed it for that. I know a lot of people said, "Oh, he shouldn't act like that," but I think when you get old like that, you do get a bit old and miserable and curmudgeons, and my wife says,
Well,
"I'm
you
getting
can relate, Matt, can't you? Really, I
yeah,
guess
my wife says I'm
you
getting a
do.
miserable old man, and I'm like, really? So she says you do, and I think,
Yeah.
yeah, he probably would be a bit like that, a bit bitter, and I don't know, he's not happy. So yeah, stuck on an island on your own, you're not going to be the most happy
Well, he's
person.
put himself there, isn't he? To be honest with you.
Yeah.
He's put himself
So,
there.
and then I don't know, Rise of Skywalker. I don't know. I didn't mind the Emperor coming back. I thought that was a great idea. I liked that idea. I just think the very end, when we've seen all these fan films, all the spirits, with Anakin appearing,
Yeah.
they should have done that. And, and they
Yeah.
didn't. They didn't. They just really missed out on that bit. And then we didn't see, that was one thing that really annoyed me, that you couldn't see those red guards at the end of there was these guards protecting the Emperor. They never saw them close up, and they were like really cool armor. We never got to see them like really close up. They were just in it for like a second, like most of the red armored troopers in Rise of Skywalker. So just really didn't use enough troopers, did they? So
no, I mean, I think there was potential there with the sequels.
Yeah,
I think they definitely missed a beat when they didn't get Han, Luke, and Leia in the same scene together.
Yeah,
that should have been one of the first things they should have done. In my opinion.
Yeah. In the Last Jedi, to me, Luke should have just got in his X-wing, raced it out, got in his X-wing, and flew to that planet and helped. Not project himself. He should have been there. I think that would be a lot better film. And he was actually there, and we saw, because we were all waiting for a proper lightsaber fight with an older Luke and a green lightsaber. He had the blue lightsaber, that was the thing that miffed me. That only miffed me.
Do you know what? I never even noticed.
Yeah, he's got his Kylo Ren should have gone, hang on, that's not green. Something not right here. Do you know what I mean? It was a blue lightsaber, and that really miffed me. It should have been green. So
yeah. I mean, that's again something that they missed out on. They set it up in The Force Awakens where Maz Kanata turned around and said, "Oh, that's a story for another time about how did you get the lightsaber?" Because Han said to her, "How did you get the lightsaber?" Well, that's a story for another time. We're still waiting.
Yeah,
that was never explained. I don't know whether it was any sort of like comics or novels or anything like that where they got the lightsaber from. So again, I think that was a missed opportunity and sort of like left us on a thread.
Oh,
Well,
Bespin's like a gas planet, isn't it? Or whatever. When it fell out of thing, it would just tumble into the gas, and it was like, well, how would that fall on a ship, or a ship passing by, or would it get blown out into the atmosphere somehow? I don't know.
It is a weird one. That is the Last Jedi. I wasn't overly impressed with. So the least said about that, the better from my point of view. Again, with The Rise of Skywalker, I didn't mind the fact that the Emperor had come back.
No.
Somehow he came back. it would have been a lot better if they would have started that with the Force Awakens, because then that's the Force Awakens. You know, the Emperor's, he's revived himself. Well, he's been cloned,
or not bother with the Emperor and bring Snoke back again as another clone. Then you could have proved all those clone bodies lying in the thing. He just reactivated another clone of himself.
Yeah.
And that would have been Snoke to the end instead of the Emperor. Would have.
Yeah.
I think they needed the Emperor. They knew people were going to go to the cinema because the Emperor was in it. That was the only reason they put it in. So
I mean, he's a great character. I mean, I love what they've done with him throughout. I mean, I mean, I know people were sort of like a bit niffed that he came back in the Force Awakens, not the Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker and stuff like that, and it wasn't really properly explained because he just got that somehow he's survived.
And they should have killed Rey at the end, and then Kylo should have turned. He turned to the good, and then became a Jedi at the end or something. That would have been a real twist to the series, on it. So
it would have been, but all these feminists who like women and stuff like that, strong female leads, they wouldn't have been very happy, would they? But there you go. So, what were your earliest memories of Star Wars?
My earliest memory is when my father took me to see. They did the old triple run. You know, they did all the 3 films. I think they released Jedi, and then they did this special thing at cinemas. All 3 came out.
Okay.
My dad took me to see the 3, but we were late, and he took me through halfway through the beginning of Star Wars. So they were just about to attack the Death Star, really. So it was it's like kind of 3/4 of the way through, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So we walked in and watched that. Then I watched Empire, and then I watched Return of the Jedi. But the whole way through, my dad had fallen asleep about 10 minutes after we got in. That's all I remember. And then waking my dad up saying, "Oh, it's." But I can't remember though sitting in the cinema for that amount of time as a kid because it's crazy. But I did.
That's a long time.
I can't, and I remember it was a big cinema in Plymouth. It was one of the Drake. People that live in Plymouth will know it was the Drake cinema. It was a big cinema.
Yeah,
and it was. That's what I remember. Yeah, and then the other memory is having the Luke X-wing figure. That was and I'd be swinging him in the kitchen on a string. I'm doing stuff from pretending he was going up the AT-AT. But I remember I always remember my dad had to keep gluing his head back on because I kept swinging it, and the rope was around his kind of neck.
Pulling his head off.
So I keep gluing that head back on, and then I'd drop it on the floor and it break off again. So
up to that point, before you went to the pictures, had you even heard of Star Wars? Did you know what it was about?
I don't think I did. No. I think he just wanted to go because everyone was talking about it. Of course, back then I don't remember looking at the TV or reading anything in the magazines or, your child life was like my dad was very kind of strict of what we watched at home. So so I don't really get to watch a lot of TV. And,
hang on a minute, it's just dropped, and the penny's just dropped about what you said. You went to watch all 3 of them at the same time. So that must have been about 1983 then, because Jedi wasn't released until. So you hadn't seen any Star Wars up until that point.
No.
Wow.
No. My dad was very strict. He would turn the TV off if the A-Team came on or Knight Rider would come on. He was like, "Oh, chat rubbish," and he was like that back then. So yeah.
So, what were your thoughts then when you watched? I mean, it's not a bad scene to walk into, is it? When the attack of the Death Star.
I know. That's why I love the speed and stuff. That's why I love it because the Death Star run, that attack, and then when they redid it on special edition, just blew me away. And I was like, "Thank you." They improved it and made it so much better now. And I love the special edition Death Star run. It's my favorite. Definitely,
because they did clean it up, didn't they? They did clean that section up. So why do you feel then? I mean, they cleaned a bit of the Empire Strikes Back up, but I don't really think they cleaned too much of the Return of the Jedi up. I mean, that is a massive space battle, but you can still see certain bits of blocking in that film. I mean, it doesn't take anything away from the film because it's just a classic. And I guess with the way TVs have improved and the picture quality has improved and stuff like that, you're going to be picking these bits up.
Yeah.
Are you surprised that they didn't go back and clean that battle up, that space battle?
Yeah, I think there's certain bits they cleaned out, didn't they? They cleaned the Rancor up and stuff, but the black line they removed, didn't they, and stuff. There was a little black line, but I think I think a lot of people like it like that, don't they? I mean, there's the special, what's it called, the despecialized editions out there, like fans have done, and
Okay.
they like it without the CGI. They like it looking rough and ready, you know, and
Yeah.
seeing all the mistakes. They look, just reminds them of the 70s and the 80s, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I
I mean,
to me, I like it the best it can look and the cleanest, and
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, because I remember going, so me, myself and Georgie, we went to the Royal Albert Hall to watch Return of the Jedi in concert. So it's this
Mm,
massive screen, and you've got the orchestra in front of it,
mm,
and they're playing all the music and stuff like that, and the tunes and stuff. Well, the tunes, it's not like a rave party or anything like that, but you know
no,
what I mean? They're playing the soundtrack to it, and it was just
yeah,
incredible. But when
yeah,
I watched it, I was like, oh my God, it out of three, I don't think it's the one that's aged the best, because there's so much that it could have done to clean that film up. But it's
yeah,
still a great film. It's still a
yeah.
great film. I mean, the purists, I'm sure, love it,
Mm.
and I don't have any issue with that as either.
It's
You know,
like
to be fair.
purists who like computer games. They like the scan lines, they call it, and it
Yeah,
looking like it's on a. I like it looking at like Atari. I've got an Atari ST
yeah,
Plus, which is HD. I want it looking as lovely a
yeah.
mint as it does. Just I'm like that. It's just weird. So.
When you say purists, just say Tez. Just say Tez.
uh,
Bless
uh,
him. Bless him.
uh,
So, I
yeah.
mean, so when did you learn to start appreciating Star Wars then? Was it, you know, because as a kid, for me, it was all about the action, the spaceships, the battles, you know,
Mm,
the guns and the lightsabers and all that kind of stuff. And then I didn't really sort of like pay much attention to the story until I got a little
mm.
bit older.
Yeah, I kind of like, well, when I used to say I've moved quite a few times in my life, and I moved from Plymouth, and then my parents separated. I moved up to kind of like Crawley Down, that area,
Okay.
and I lived next door to, like, I had a best friend who lived next door to me, and we'd be in and out of each other's houses all the time. He's one of these people that you remember. He'd have all the videos and were numbered and have the book, and you'd have to go through the book, and you'd have all your video, your films taped
Oh,
yeah, in the book, and have them numbered, you know. And
yeah,
we'd
yeah,
always go around. I'd go around and watch Star Wars all the time, like on, and just
yeah,
sit there, and it'd be on blaring away, and we come in and play, watch a bit, and then we go off on our bikes or do something. So
yeah,
Star Wars was there, but I didn't really have that many toys, because I always say I've Action Force. I was more the
yeah.
Action Force stuff. For some reason, I wanted the Army stuff more than the Star Wars stuff when I got older. It was weird, but I
Wow.
still in my mind, Star Wars was there, and I like Lego. I had Lego, and I would make things out of Lego and make
Yeah,
ships and stuff and all sort of thing. But yeah, Star Wars didn't really come back to me until
yeah,
'97 when the special edition, '96, '97 when the special editions come out, and that really kind of reawakened my collecting, I think. So
yeah. So
and
your collecting then took off after, like I mean, you know, because I think, was it 96? So that would have been around about the time of the Power of the Force.
yeah, I kind of like, yeah, when they kind of re-released most of it, didn't they? I didn't really buy a lot of it. I'd buy the odd figure, and
Yeah,
then it did get crazy. I did nearly buy every single figure. I went back and collected a lot of the Power, because back then when the Power of the Force were coming out, some of them were quite expensive because they were hard to get because everyone had
yeah,
got. So I was going back, and then yeah, I got quite a
yeah,
few. Got a bit crazy collecting all those figures. So
yeah, yeah. Then news broke that George Lucas was going back and
mm,
doing the prequels,
yeah.
episodes 1, 2, and 3. I mean, what were your thoughts on that? Were you excited by it? Were you looking forward to
Yeah,
it?
I
Was it
was. I
something
mean,
you had?
I was going into. I can't remember what the toy shop was called back then. Was it? I don't remember the toy shop, but they had the TV in there, and they had all the Phantom Menace stuff up on the lights, double lightsaber, and then they had the trailer playing on the little
Yeah,
TV.
yeah.
First time I saw it, I walked in the toy shop and saw the trailer and seeing the Gungans coming out of the mist. I was like, "Ooh,
That was a
what's this?"
great shot. What a great shot that
Great
was, wasn't it?
shot, best shot in ever. And then suddenly it's pod racing. You're like, "Whoa!" And you're like,
Again,
"What is
speed.
this?"
That speed, isn't it? That you know that.
Yeah, that just blew me away. Yeah, that's why I love the Phantom Menace so much, because I think Tez as well loves it for the pod race. I love the pod racing in it. I think that's great. I could watch a whole series on just like someone traveling to different planets and racing. You know, like some kind of film where they're like from the back and they got to make their way to the front. You know, like a struggling team. That'd be a great. That'd be in my series. That is something I'd like really like seeing. They go. We could see all the different planets and all the different creatures, because there's like, what was the game? I had it on the Nintendo 64, the pod racing game. Loved it.
Right.
Loved that. Was my favorite game. Loved playing that. I got it on the PS4. So
I mean, I did enjoy that scene. I enjoyed the Tatooine scene. Some of that I thought was a bit OTT, especially with a certain character, bless him, old Jar Jar. But a little bit OTT.
I don't mind Jar Jar. I really don't. Yeah. I think it would have been a lot better if they made him speak like with subtitles. That's what a lot of people say. And I've seen a guy out there who's dubbed it and changed it, and he's just put a silly language on it, and then the language, and it doesn't make him look so annoying, I guess.
Well, yeah, there is that. I mean, look, listen, that's how it was directed. That's what George Lucas wanted, and I think he did come out and say afterwards that maybe he did sort of like go a bit too OTT with him, too far with him. But I mean, you know, he's saying it was aimed at kids, you know, as he always says. But you know, I did love the stuff with the, you know, with the pod racing, and I just thought that was great. I really did, and I think that's probably one of the best parts of the Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
and then you get into the political side of things, you know, with how, you know, Palpatine's manipulating everybody. And again, I didn't appreciate that to start with. It was only when I started getting a bit older and watched it again, and he, you know, he's sort of like, I thought that was brilliant. And then you had Darth Maul.
I had the great pleasure of trying to explain to the people that weren't Star Wars fans who'd gone and seen it or heard about it, that Emperor Palpatine, as Darth Sidious, is a senator, and they're like, "What do you mean? It's the same guy." But well, what do you mean? I said, "But look at his chin. He's got the same chin." You just look at his chin, and they're like, "Really? Darth Sidious is?" I said, "Yeah, he's the senator." Oh, I didn't know that. People didn't realize that.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't much of a twist, was it? I mean, we all kind of knew.
We all know.
We all knew. You know,
Ian McDermott was the emperor, but people that had not really didn't know the name didn't realize it's the same actor. Yeah.
But again, I mean, you know, people sort of like bemoaning that, you know, Anakin was maybe too young, but I thought
different actor.
Jake Lloyd didn't do a bad job. I mean, again, George Lucas was a great storyteller, but he wasn't the best director in the world. But he could get what he wanted because he could see it. And loads of people said, you know, he could see what he wanted, and he wanted it, and he said it's written down and stuff like that. Just say it. And like Harrison Ford said, you can't just say that, you know. But I didn't think Anakin did too bad. Not Anakin. Jake Lloyd did too bad. And he was a kid, for crying out loud. Kids are whiny little brats, aren't they, most of the time?
He was the kid he was in, what was he in, Jingle All the Way? He was the kid to use. So he was a clever kid.
So I didn't mind that. Then you go to Attack of the Clones. Again, out of the three, not my favorite film, but CGI, I just thought it was too heavy with the CGI, and that's why I'm like I like the lived-in look, the sets and the physical stuff that you can see, as opposed to like all this green screen stuff.
I did love the speed chase at the beginning, chasing the Obi-Wan on the probe. I loved all that. I thought that was absolutely brilliant, chasing Zam Wessel. I thought it was great. I loved all that. But the Clone Wars bit at the end some of it was great, but they just should have made the clones. They should have had people in costumes and not cheap bait, and and had CGI, because you can just see it now. It's so obvious now.
It is. I mean, you know, you had the original trilogy with the Stormtroopers, the guys in the suits and stuff like that. I mean, you know, when you know, going back to Return of the Jedi, when the Emperor comes in, it's a massive matte painting with just a few people in costumes and stuff like that. When I was a kid, I had no idea that was a matte painting.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I was just so engrossed in the film. But with I don't know whether I'm seeing it through adult eyes now when it comes to the prequels, but with Attack of the Clones, and you could see that it was CGI. It was like watching a long version of the Clone Wars cartoon animated series.
I think Lucasfilm should go back and just retweet this, but do like a new special edition and retweet the prequel just make the special effects like a lot better. Like clean them up, make them a bit more. They could do that and re-release them and make more money because people will go and watch them again, wouldn't they?
Would they do that? Would they do that? Because I mean, it's would they need to get permission from George Lucas?
Yeah, probably would. But then if they own it all, I don't know if there's maybe there was some stipulation they can't do anything,
Possibly.
change it, but just clean them up, make it a bit more detailed and little nifty things that some things that just don't look right. Yeah. So
then we had sorry, go on.
Sorry, no, Carol.
No, I was going to say then we had Revenge of the Sith, and again I didn't mind that at all. I didn't. They sort of like they kind of put Padme in the back seat a little bit, and I mean maybe that's because she was pregnant, so she didn't have too much to do. By this time, Jar Jar was just here, didn't have anything to do at all. But I you see, when I think of the prequels, I think they if they'd have done it this way, and if they'd have done it that way, and everyone's got their own version of how they would like to have it played out. But I kind of feel that Anakin sort of like was succumbed and seduced far too easily. At the end. I mean, it's been going on all the way through like episodes 2 and for the most part of episode 3. I just felt it was a little too easy.
Yeah, I think if the Emperor hadn't befriended Anakin at the beginning, he knew what he was up to, and I think it would have been not as believable. But because they were like friends for a long time, you don't realize how many. That's why you kind of, it's your friend in it. You would be. That's why he was like, I can't turn against. Had two friends, and it's like
true,
good friends, and it's hard to pick between them, innit? But Kenobi was more a father, and he was like the nagging teacher. But the Emperor guy, he was more. He listened to him, didn't he, and advised. It's a hard choice between two people.
Yeah, I've never looked at it like that, and now you say that, that's kind of making sense to me as to why it maybe was a little bit easier to.
Emperor was crafty by just building a friendship and just taking his time with it, and it just knew.
No, that's very true.
I do wish Anakin just carried on fighting for a little bit longer. Maybe like I always wish that Obi-Wan like chopped an arm off, and Anakin carried on fighting with like one arm and his legs, just kept on, and then he hurt Kenobi a little bit, a little bit more. I just thought the way he did the jump was a bit of a cop out.
Like something out of Monty Python. It's just a flesh wound, and it's just with one arm.
Fighting because he's got the mechanical arm. They could just cut the mechanical and he could spark in, or still fight with another arm, or he could use the Force to use the lightsaber, which we've not seen really, have we? We've seen now with Vader. We've seen like in Kenobi where everyone's starting to throw their lightsabers now, and because of computer games, they're throwing their lightsabers and spinning and bringing it back. That was never a thought, was it, back then?
No. Do you think? I mean, I know you say you like seeing new stuff and what have you. Like the way we see ships in hyperspace and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you like seeing all that sort of stuff where they're throwing their lightsabers and?
Because like you said, we didn't see it, new, isn't it? And now we're seeing people using the Force to hold lightsabers, aren't we? To actually basically stop them. I think it's great. It's thinking of new ways of.
Well, I mean, if you'd watch the Acolyte, you'd see people headbutting lightsabers.
Oh well, I'll never have that joy of never have that joy.
What do I think of next? Brilliant.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh dear.
I'm glad I'm not seeing
it. Honestly, it's something else. It really is. Were you ever into any of the animated series?
Yeah, I loved them. Loved it all. Yeah, loved it all. I even watched the what was the one that was set in the sequel era. The racing thing. We had the racing. You thought it was going to be a racing thing, but it was more to do about the young guy. I can't remember the series now. Resistance. I enjoyed that. I watched them all. I thought it was really good. I know a lot of people didn't like it.
There's some parts I thought, okay, now we're getting somewhere, and then it'd be just like that little green alien friend of his, the Klaatu looking kind of guy.
Oh yeah, the silly guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, oh. I mean, it's for kids. It's for kids. So I know it's for kids.
It was all made out to be this racing thing, and it wasn't really a racing thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was this big sort of like. Well, I thought it was like a big station on the sea and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
in the ocean. But it ended up being a massive spaceship, didn't it?
Yeah, and every day, every episode, they'd be racing against someone, and there'd be something, but it changed to like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
resistance, and
I
they
mean,
kind of
some of the episodes were quite good. I mean, I thought, wow, okay, they've actually gone into what's happening with within in line with
First Order and stuff, wasn't it?
the
Bring it. You
First
got
Order when they which one was it? They blew the planets up. Was that the Force Awakens? Yeah, it
yeah,
was,
and
wasn't it?
oh damn,
The
and they
Heston time or
yeah,
whatever. So I mean,
in
yeah,
it.
I mean they tied it
Yeah,
in well.
yeah.
That wasn't too
Didn't
bad.
mind it. Didn't mind it. No.
So then, after Revenge of the Sith, did you think that was it with Star
Yeah,
Wars as far
yeah,
as movies were concerned?
yeah. There was well, kind of that was it, and I kind of sort of thought to myself, wow, this is it now. I'm gonna went kind of a bit of a low, and that's what we're going to see now. And I kind
Yeah,
of stopped for a while collecting again. Really did stop quite some time for quite a few
yeah,
years, and then I heard, oh, Disney have bought it. They're gonna, and I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. And then 10 years later, 10 years on it, we got Force Awakens. Yeah, I can't
yeah,
believe it.
blimey, it nearly is 10 years. Blimey, 2015. I mean, again, was that excitement there? Was the anticipation there? When you saw the the trailer, you see the Falcon flying around again.
That was like, oh wow, yeah. I think it was. I can't remember which trailer it was. There was a second and a third trailer, but I think the one where we actually saw Rey in the dunes and they did the old glasses, or she moved the glasses, or you saw it, and then you saw proper bits of the Falcon, and then of course you saw Han Solo and Chewie, and that was it. That was the deal. That was the deal clincher, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was like yes.
yeah.
God, I loved having Harrison Ford in there. I thought it was great. Couldn't believe it. It was great, and we got to kill him off. We had to. So he wanted to. He wanted her.
I think the only way for him to come back was because he wanted his character killed off in Return of the Jedi, but George Lucas wasn't having any of it. And I think Josh Lawrence Kasdan, he wanted someone to go early in the film because then it would have kept everybody in their seats. And I think if that had have happened, that would have put a whole totally different tone to Return of the Jedi. And I don't think George Lucas wanted that. And George Lucas always pretty much got what he wanted, as they say. So you had The Force Awakens, then The Last Jedi comes out. Very much sort of like the black sheep of the family when it comes to Star Wars, wasn't it? It was pretty far out there.
It does look good when you see it on the cinema. It looks great. It looks amazing. Some of those scenes.
The cinematography is great. There's some great shots in that film. I will give it that. But that's
when on that planet with the salt, the bits. Some of the scenes just look great. Really did.
Yeah.
And going to that little island off Ireland, it's just great. Just a little island. Yeah. And all the puffins are flying over, and they had to kind of make them into the porgs. Yeah, it's clever. Yeah, because you could see it on the background, all the birds, the puffins flying, and they're like, "What are we going to do? We're going to have to do something here." And they just put those porgs in just to kind of.
Oh, do you know? I've never ever noticed that.
Yes, a puffin, because that island's a puffin sanctuary. It's where all the puffins go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess I can see the reason why they did it, but I never noticed the puffins. I think I was the Last Jedi was probably, up until that point, Attack of the Clones was the film that I was most disappointed to come out of the theatre seeing. And then when The Last Jedi, I was just like, oh, what? And then, I don't agree with what they've done with Luke, with the fact that he just tossed his lightsaber and he was a grouch old git. Because I just don't think that was his character. But then, I guess if you stop and think about it, he would have been that way because he's lost absolutely everything. You know,
a bit crazy on the island. He might have just tossed his lightsaber. So,
yeah. But then I can see, people's, this isn't the Luke we wanted. This isn't Luke we knew. Even Mark Hamill at the time said, this isn't Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
It's not Luke Skywalker. And he was so against it, but now he's loving it. What a great job Rian Johnson did.
Luke just have said, no, like she hands it out. He just goes like, no, don't give it to me.
Yeah. But never mind. It there was that. And then, like you say, the Rise of Skywalker. Again, you had some great designs that, the Sith Well, the Sith troopers that the red stormtroopers.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the stormtroopers looked pretty cool. I
Yeah.
thought they looked pretty cool. I like the design of it. You've gone back to the old way of doing things where you've got guys in costumes.
What you should be.
Yeah. The Praetorian Guards, I didn't mind them. I thought they were pretty cool.
Yeah,
what
amazing.
else? There was something else. There was something else that I quite liked. It's gone. I can't remember. But again, it's just I thought the story was pretty lame. Oh, the Emperor, coming back. But again,
I just didn't like all those ships appearing at the end. I thought that was just that was too many ships.
Yeah,
I just thought that is too much. Come on, you don't. That's ridiculous amount of ships. You don't need that many on screen. I just thought it was overkill. The poor guy had to CGI and had all those ships.
Like be big and bold, and sort of like
I didn't believe it. I thought that was over the top. So I would have preferred
that over the top. What about the horses, the space horses?
Yeah, I can understand that because it's in atmosphere, isn't it? It's on the planet's atmosphere. That's how they get away with that. They're saying it's in a planet's atmosphere. It's breathable, but
But I do you know what? One character that I didn't mind, and that was, and I can't remember his name. Who was the bad guy of the fleet? He ordered the fleet. Oh, bloody hell!
Oh yeah. The English actor was in it. The English actor. Yeah. Oh, no. He's Loki as well, isn't he? He's the other Loki.
I thought he was a great character, and they should have had him in it from the very beginning, from The Force Awakens. I thought Hux wasn't too bad, but then he was
great in the first one. Yeah, he was great in the first film, wasn't he? He was a real nasty person. You're like, oh, this guy's going to be, and it just made him. Yeah, just made him a whiny. Just made him a whiner, didn't he? It's kind of
he was an absolute clown in the second one.
Yeah.
And then for him to turn around and be the spy, where's that
terrible.
come from? It's just like, oh.
Yeah, they made that. That's terrible. Yeah, the worst thing ever.
Yeah. What about the music? What about the music? John Williams' score.
Oh yeah, it's
the whole of the Star Wars.
It's always good music, isn't it? It's always great. I'm definitely more sound effects. I love the sounds and stuff.
Yeah, well, Ben Burtt, the original trilogy and the prequels, I thought was a great sound effects. Yeah, he won an Oscar for that, didn't he?
Yeah,
he did. Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I always like that theme, and then you got different people who've composed other music for different Star Wars stuff, and it's always classical music done like that. It's always great.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we've been to the Royal Albert Hall to see both Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi in concert, and I've seen the film, so I don't need to watch the film. I kind of glance up every now and again.
You're just staring at.
I'm just watching. Watching the orchestra. I just think it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
how they do it, and the conductor, he's got his little cue lights and stuff like that, and then you've got the just woodwinds, the strings, the brass. The percussion, just absolutely fantastic. I just how they managed, and that is such a talent writing those kind of scores, and what a talented guy.
Oh, definitely.
And I don't think Star Wars would be Star Wars without John Williams' music.
Oh no, it's kind of saved the first film and carried on, didn't it? I don't think if he'd picked John, it would have been any different film, wouldn't it? Different.
So. The next question I've got for you is, I know the answer, but after everything we've discussed, like music and stuff like that, what is it about Star Wars that really stood out for you? Like I said, I think I know what the answer is to this.
Yeah, I think it's just, it's not this world, is it? It's another world. It's away from the Earth, and it's just completely, you don't have, when you watch it, you just don't have to think about it, and you switch off, don't you? And it's just it's just something about maybe one day in the far future we will be traveling the galaxy and planets. Just simple thing like that, just jumping in, like you jump in a car, you jump in a ship and you just go somewhere. You could just do that one day in the far future. It just amazes me that just people get in and just fly, and anyone can fly a spaceship. It's great.
I can see that.
Anyone could just jump in. So,
to be fair, Matt, that wasn't the answer I was expecting. I thought you were going to say about the speed. So,
there's that as well. Yeah. That's another thing. But to me, it's always been, that's another. It's always been. It's not from this. It's not this world. It's completely different, isn't it?
I get from Star Wars, especially more so the original trilogy, because that's the one that I grew up with. That's the one that I'm closest to. And now I guess I can say the prequels is you always get that feel good factor with watching Star Wars. It's fun. It's a fun film. They're fun films. I mean, at the time, I didn't think Phantom Menace was fun because it was like a lot of political stuff going on.
Yeah.
But then when you look back at it now, I mean, my appreciation of the prequels is as you know, grown a lot because of the Clone Wars. That was fun. That was a great animated series, and I thought the storytelling in that was absolutely fantastic.
I know some of them were out. I know some of the Clone Wars is out of order when they showed them, weren't they? Because
just to start with, I think it was the first 2.5 seasons after
watch them in a certain order, haven't you? There's a new list
after season 3, they started getting their story arcs all put one together, which I think made sense. I have no idea why they did that. The first time round.
Yeah, that last series was great. The last series with Ahsoka, and that was great watching those.
How cool was that? Yeah.
Off with the Bad Batch and the mole and stuff. It was great.
Yeah, no, it really was good storytelling, and it makes you wonder how they can get the storytelling so right within an animated series, but they can't get it right within live action. I mean, I'm not bemoaning Disney. I do think they've done some great stuff. I mean, you've had Rogue One, you've had Andor, you've had Mandalorian, some really great stuff that when Disney get it right, they do get it right. And I will, I don't have any issues saying that, but by God, when they get it wrong, they don't have to make a mess of it, don't they?
Wrong people, isn't it? So some person gets here and says, I want to make this, and they think, oh, I'll give them a go, but they should have realized that Acolyte was bad. Someone should have been watching it and going, "Oh, this is but no." They probably didn't want to have another catastrophe like Solo, but I love the Solo film. I think I watch it.
I mean, again, that is a fun movie. It's a fun movie, but as I've said before, it didn't stand a chance after The Last Jedi, because by the time The Last Jedi had been and gone, people
they should have given it. They should have waited and shown it at Christmas and not in May. That was a bad idea. Showing it in May. Should just given it a year. Yeah, should have given it the year and shown it at Christmas, because there was nothing that Christmas. It was a real cock up, and then people would have gone and seen it. It was at Christmas, I think.
Yeah. How important is Star Wars to you within the Star Wars universe?
Oh, that's a hard one, isn't it? It's a hard one.
Well,
in the Star Wars universe, I don't know. But a lot of people, who, like my wife says, she says I think and breathe Star Wars all the time, but I don't know. I don't know.
Are you quite happy just seeing Star Wars, or I mean, the reason I'm asking is because Acolyte was shocking. The story weren't great. I mean, people say, well, it was brilliant. Well, it wasn't, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But there you are. Yeah. So, I mean, it didn't follow canon. It broke Star Wars lore. So that's why I'm kind of asking, because I think, for me personally, Star Wars is story within anything is important, especially the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
I mean, look what they did with the sequels. I mean, the story was all over the place. It was disjointed because you had episodes 3, 4, 5, and 6 were all written. So the plan was there. They had the story. It was the same as episodes 1, 2, and 3. But then you get to the sequels, and Rian Johnson shit on what J.J. Abrams did before, and then Colin Trevorrow was supposed to do this, the third movie. He's seen that car crash and thought, "Sod that."
How am I going to sort this out? Because I'm going to get so much.
Then J.J. Abrams comes back and says, "Right, I'm going to shit over what you've done." Do you know what I mean? And you could hear it in the writing.
And when has J.J. Abrams done anything else recently? None, not at all. Has he? He doesn't direct anymore.
He did. I think he was executive producer on the Caped Crusader, the animated series on.
Oh, is he? Okay. Okay. Oh dear.
But so when I say that they, so Rian Johnson in episode 2, you've got Kylo Ren saying, "Forget the past, kill it if you have to," basically saying, "Well, we're moving on. We're going this way in Star Wars. If you don't like it, sod off, not an issue." Yeah. And then you had J.J. Abrams in The Rise of Skywalker with a line saying, "Oh, well, what about the Holdo move and stuff like that?" And it was like, well, yeah, that was just a one-off. That was a one-off. Let's just forget that as a one-off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm not looking forward to any Star Wars now until Andor comes back, the second series. That's when I will get Disney Plus again probably. So
yeah. I mean, what else? I mean, they've got Skeleton Crew coming out soon. I mean, that is basically Goonies in space, and I'm not going to make any judgment on it until I've watched it, because you can't say, well, it's shit.
They need to put. Hopefully,
you've not seen it.
Hopefully, they're going to put a better trailer out soon. They're going to put a second better trailer out, and we might get an idea.
The one thing that did get me when I saw the first trailer was it's very suburban, isn't it? It's just like down the road.
Yeah, that's one thing Star Wars isn't. It's not like that. Suburbia is not like that in Star Wars. It's all built up in cities, or it's the complete opposite. It's run down. I know people say, "Well, we've never seen all the planets." It could be a planet like that, but that's too close to what.
That's what sets Star Wars apart.
Yeah,
the fact it was off-world. It was totally different. I mean, again, you know, the original trilogy, it was filmed in Tunisia. It was filmed in Norway. It was filmed in the redwood forests of California.
Yeah.
But because the way it was filmed, you thought it was on a desert planet. You thought it was on an ice world. You thought it was on a forest moon. Do you know what I mean? And that's, you know, but now it just, that scene that I saw in Suburbia reminded me very much, it should have been in a, you know, Star Trek, in the future of Star Trek.
Because we've only seen planets like Coruscant that are just completely cityscape, haven't we? We've never really seen other planets. So some people are going to say, well, people must live in houses like, you know, like we do, and but I don't know. Some people are gonna have to watch it and then let me know, and I'll see what other people say who do watch it, and then if it is in
school bus, you had the school bus.
Yeah. Yeah, all the kids that we'd have our mountain BMXs, they got hover bikes or whatever they got, haven't they? They had something. Yeah,
it's too close to home. I mean, again, you've missed this because you've not seen the Acolyte, but they even refer to factory settings. I mean, for the love of God, you know, it's ridiculous. It's too close to home, right? It's supposed to be off-world. It's supposed to be in a galaxy far, far away. But,
a lot of people said that about Andor when they were on that planet with the bricks and stuff. They said, "Oh, that's too close to." But I don't. I like that.
Well, it was just down the road in Brighton.
Well, it was in the UK, wasn't it? It was just in a little. Yeah, it was great.
Well, that big scene was in Blackpool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah, and the other.
You probably saw. If you look closely, you can see Manga Fandanga.
And the other scene where they go there is down Swanage in the caves where they had the caves.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
no,
it's not far from me. I'm planning to go. So.
Another scene, that spaceport where you've got that big window.
Yeah. Do you go through that? Do you walk through that most days, or do you get?
Yeah, I pretend I'm at a spaceport.
I'm surprised you haven't done any. I'm surprised you haven't had any. You like to take pictures of yourself there, and look. There's a picture of it now, and there's where it is in Andor. No, you can't do that. No. It's a shame, isn't it?
I do value my job.
Yeah,
I do like my job. How important do you think the older generation of Star Wars fans are to the Star Wars franchise? When I say older, I mean people like you and me, Matt, the more mature types, the ones that have grown up with it from the start.
Oh, it's not a hard one.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. It's just I mean, us older guys, we do just like the original trilogy, don't we? I mean, it's hard to, and if nothing else compares to it, really. So
do you think the bar with the original trilogy was set so high that fan expectation is, you know, it's fan expectation, and when something doesn't meet our expectations, it kind of like
it's been. I think the original trilogy, Star Wars has been done, really, and in some ways they should have just kept it at those 3 films. But it's hard, isn't it, to compare. Hard to keep up with those 3 films. It was something completely different. The only way you could say Star Wars again, you've got to do something completely different. It hasn't been seen before, but it's hard to do that now with the way the world is. And
it is. You know, I popped a post on Insta and Facebook today, and one guy and it was Anthony from the Imperial Communique said writing is very hard. It is difficult.
Yeah.
It is, but writing's
Yeah.
always been hard to try and tell a story. Trying to tell an original story is really hard. So if you can't think of a story that's, you know, a decent story, don't fill it with political and social agendas and stuff like that. If you can't think of anything, because if you can't think of anything to write, don't write anything at all and just leave it. Don't ruin what we've already got.
The problem is writers now are getting employed. They are in their 20s and 30s. The problem is we're older now, aren't we? We all kind of, people in our 40s and 50s and what else, we all seem to stick in the same, we stayed in the same group. We all chat to each other. We don't.
Yeah.
So we, do you know what I mean? We look a certain way. We've grown up a certain way. We like it a certain way. The problem is these younger people now that are writing like it a different way to we like it. And we've just got to admit it that we're never going to be happy. We're never going to be happy.
I do get that. I do get that. I do get that. But like I've said, when Disney get it right, look at The Mandalorian. Look at
look at Andor. Look at
Andor. When they get it right, they get it right because they're staying true to Star Wars.
I'm guessing because the guy who does Andor is an older guy, isn't he? He's an older guy. He's our age. He's seen Star Wars when we saw Star Wars, so he appreciates it. So I'm guessing.
Fair enough. That's how important are strong female characters within Star Wars?
Oh yeah, very important. We've got to have strong female characters. It's the way the world is now. Most women are, aren't they? So yeah. I know.
We've always had them. We've always had them in Star Wars.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, as everyone says, Carrie Fisher, and I think love Sigourney Weaver. I think she's an amazing woman. The way in that film, she's great, very sexy woman. So,
in Alien and Aliens,
yeah, I think she's amazing.
I mean, great. Yeah. I mean, you know,
strong.
I just don't get how, you know, Princess Leia was overlooked when, and what's her name, Kathleen Kennedy, turned around and said, well, you know, the older generation of male toxic fans don't like strong female characters. Absolute nonsense. What you were there with the original trilogy. You know, you're part of that. You saw Carrie Fisher.
We like characters that we like to see struggle. We like to see them struggling, but they get there. But we like to see them struggle, and then you build. We don't like to see people that have suddenly like that. They've got everything. We like to see people on a journey and get there, struggle, and
I think that's what you call character development, Matt.
Ray just had everything by the end of the first. And you're like, hang on, she hasn't been trained. How can she know all this stuff? You know,
it's part of the course with this generation. They just want everything now, don't they? They don't want to have to work for it. They just want everything now, instant success, instant fame. Do you know what I mean? And it's not all of the generation, you know, some of, but there you are.
But Ray had the secret Palpatine juice, didn't she, inside of her? So
well, that's what we've heard. Yeah. So, but I mean, Princess Leia, she wasn't a damsel in distress or anything like that. Right? You know, she was a strong-headed woman. She was a strong character. You know, I mean, people have said before she was the one who was really in charge of Han and Luke when they were going around the Death Star. She had the plan. She knew what she was doing.
She inherited her genes from her mother and her father, who were both the strong people as well. That's why Padme is so strong. And
Padme was a strong female character. You know, queen at the age of 14, a senator. You know,
you think of you think about the Palpatine. He's a crafty guy. But what did he give? Because I can't remember the story now. Isn't it? He cloned. Did he have he cloned his? Didn't he clone himself as a son? And then that's how I forgot. I think
so. I mean, there were so many stories that they could have taken from the expanded universe to explain Palpatine.
But his son didn't have it wasn't force sensitive, was he? But and then Ray was, or whatever. I can't remember.
But now they're going back and retconning that, aren't they? With you know, bits and bobs within like stuff that they're writing now, like the Mandalorian, and because they hinted on cloning in the Mandalorian. They hinted on cloning in season 3 of Bad Batch and stuff like that with this Omega and stuff. So
hope they bring that in the film. Right? We get a mention of like a baddie. We get to see Moff Gideon again. He's been cloned. Is another one of him. I love him.
He's been cloned. You know, he's been cloned.
Everyone says that.
Had the moustache, didn't he?
Because everyone says because he hasn't got the mustache, he's the clone. So we'll see.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. Well,
I love it. I liked it. Can't say. I know how hated this season 3, but I enjoyed it. It was okay.
Some of it I thought wasn't too bad. I didn't mind it. I don't think it was as strong a season as seasons 1 and 2. I mean, look again, that scene at the end of the last episode at the end of season 2 with Luke.
Yeah, you can't top it.
I mean, so I read a comment, someone saying that Luke was just a like a computer game character and stuff like that, and it wasn't the real thing. But listen, I didn't mind it. I thought it was good, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
and the build up to season 3, I thought I was really excited for, and then it was kind of like a bit of a damn squid, in my opinion. I enjoyed some of the episodes. Some of them I didn't like too much. When it was like a who's who in one of the episodes with Jack Black and Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, those people! I didn't mind
that lady's name.
I didn't mind that. I just because it was like full of droids and stuff. Because I love droids, and that bit where they go in the bar and it's just all robots. I thought that was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, again, everybody's different. Everybody's got a different opinion. Everybody's got a different take, and that's perfectly okay. I don't have an issue with that. It's not a problem. Not a problem.
No.
How important is it for Star Wars to be inclusive?
Oh, yes, yeah. Well, I think it always has been inclusive, hasn't it? So, you think about it. It's aliens are in it. we like aliens in it. We've got aliens in it. So there's a lot of illegal aliens. So.
yeah.
So they all get treated the same. But the Empire, the Empire doesn't like aliens, so they like to keep it pure. So as I say, so there's always that kind of real. You think about stuff like that. So
and maybe the Empire are a bit racist. I don't know.
Well, they kind of make out they are. They don't want aliens.
Alienist.
Yeah, but except for Thrawn. Thrawn's an alien, isn't he? But he's more humanoid, isn't he? I guess I don't know. There's a difference, but yeah.
I mean, again, we've had strong, diverse casts. I mean, Rogue One, in particular. Andor. What's his name? Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian. Tamara Morrison as Boba Fett.
New Zealander is the clones. Yeah.
Strong female lead in Rogue One, Jen Erso.
Yeah,
I thought she was great. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. And look, I feel sorry for Daisy Ridley because as a character, Rey, I didn't mind her so much. But again, I think the story and the writing let her down because she didn't have that kind of character development. She did know it all, whether she's got the magic juice from Palpatine in her or not. Like you say, people want to see character development because then that means they can sort of like relate to the character more. They've seen them through the struggles and stuff like that. No one wants to see everybody who's got it right there and then.
This is very heavy, isn't it? It's very heavy. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Chat.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason I ask these questions is because I'm sick and tired of seeing stupid people make stupid comments on social media, and that's why I come off of X. Absolutely hate it.
All right.
Terrible.
I don't really look at it. I don't really go through. I just put my links up to my latest videos. I don't really read the hex. I
wish I'd have done that.
Yeah,
I'm very easily triggered. Very easily triggered.
Yeah, I don't read stuff really. I just ignore it. I let people say what they want to say. If they want to say it, let them say it. But it don't bother me.
It annoys me because it's the minority that are saying this absolute rubbish, branding people as racist and bigots because they don't like a certain Star Wars property because it's got a black female lead in it or because it's got gay characters in it. We couldn't care. Just give us good stories. And I feel it's important to ask these because we are part of that older generation of Star Wars fans who grew up with the original trilogy. And we aren't bigots, we aren't racist.
We know people are gay or whatever, but we don't get it shoved in our face. So
absolutely.
They want to do what they want to do, they can do it. But I think that's the problem now. It's shoved in our face. It's more important. It's more important than the Star Wars, the lore and stuff.
When did Star Wars ever become about sexual orientation and gender based? It never has been. So why?
It's about good fighting. It's good about good fighting evil, and what's all that in between.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, as simple as that. That's when it should be. Yeah.
I mean, look, I know that Star Wars, you get sort of like everyday. I mean, it's the same with any property. You will get modern day politics involved in it at some point or another. you know, like dictatorships and war and greed and stuff like that. We get that, you know, but to keep bombarding it with all this, anyway. It does. It triggers me. It gets my goat.
I just think though, like we you know, we're at a certain age. We like Star Wars. There's people now that like what's out now. Those people are going to moan about the people in like 20 years of Star Wars carriage on. They're going to moan about the way they like Star Wars. It's always going to be the way. Generations are just not going to like stuff. So I just think it's going to be the way. I can't see people our age enjoying much more Star Wars the way it's going to continue. I don't think we're going to be happy with anything that comes out, really.
No,
so I don't think we will.
But because of that, it doesn't mean to say we don't understand Star Wars, we don't get it, and we're any less of a fan. That's not the case. You know, and this is it's ridiculous. So if you're in that younger generation who you know are moaning about us being the older generation not liking anything, you wait until you're our age.
And then they have to,
giving you grief, calling you all sorts of
names.
And
they laugh at people that like inaccurate. Like, how could you watch that? Oh well, no. It's like, you know, it's going to be
attitudes change.
It will be. Give it another 10, 20 years, it will change again, won't it? So,
yeah, absolutely. Overall, last question, because we're at the top of the hour. Overall, what makes Star Wars great? If that's another difficult question, Matt, I'm so sorry.
No, what makes Star Wars great?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, I just got to. What is it?
You've had an hour to think about it. Bloody hell.
It's a big subject, isn't it, Star Wars? It's a hard one to pinpoint. I think everyone who's done this, so you've asked them, and they've all gone, this is one thing. And they always say the same thing, but just to me, it's something to look into the future, maybe, and that's you know, maybe one day we'll get to that point, you know, something we can dream.
We're already starting.
Yeah, maybe one day we will. Wouldn't it be great just to step out the door and get on a hover bike and just hover and just go and not have to touch the ground in it, just to grab, you know, just you know, wouldn't it be great just to levitate off the ground on a bike and just go down the street? You don't have to worry about.
Do you think that'll ever be in our generation?
No, but it'd be great not have to go and buy more tires for your car, wouldn't it? You know, just things like that. You know, just get on it and it gravitates and it hovers over and it's what a feeling that'll be, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah. Well,
that's something. That'd be a dream to get on a little speeder bike and go off, but we're never going to see it.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? A speeder bike? Or what about a pod racer?
Yeah, no, I'll be happy with a speeder, just a little speeder. That'll do me. Get on it, off we go. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Galaxy's Edge?
No, I've never been to America, so I've never had the chance yet.
Okay, well, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Because you know you go to Galaxy's Edge and you're in that world. It's like you are in that world, regardless of whether it's for the sequels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you take the sequels out of it, you feel like you're on a different world. All the sounds going on because you like all the different sounds, all alien and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you've got the rides and you feel like you're in one of the movies. And then you got the it's great. It's great. I mean, I don't do well with simulators, but it was good.
Yeah, I'd love to go one day. I keep saying one day we will go to America before we get too old. You gotta be young to do it, haven't you? So
you're not that old, Matt, are you? To be
honest, but I know. You see just the way the world is now. It's like traveling, and I love speed, but I don't like traveling. It's just a weird thing. I want to be there in like a couple of minutes, until they figure out teleportation or really quick flight.
Stop that! No chance.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we used to have the Concorde, but they've stopped making in the Concorde now. They haven't decided to make a faster when they're going to make a new aircraft that can go like the Concorde and get us there in 3 hours, you know what I mean?
Well, people moan because it wasn't cost effective and it was expensive and loud and noisy.
Sodom, I want to get to America in 3 hours.
You've got to moan about everything, haven't they, this day and age? Stop bloody moaning. Enjoy life. What's the matter with you?
Environmentally friendly. I don't care. I just want to get to America in 3 hours.
We sound like two bloody old men. We really do. Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah.
Anyhow. Go on, what are you going to say?
No, bring back the Concorde or something.
Well, yeah.
No, I couldn't afford it anyway to fly to America. Yeah, there we go.
We've come to the end of the conversation, Matt. So I just want to say a massive thank you for taking part. It's been that hour went really quick. Not saying the others didn't.
Yeah, we didn't struggle there, did we? We didn't struggle. No, we didn't.
We did. We did or we didn't.
We didn't. No, I don't think we did.
Well, we never struggle, do we?
No, we never struggle. No, I think we all, us people that do this, we never struggle, do we? Talking about Star Wars. So.
No. But again, I've really enjoyed it, mate. I really have. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on. Thank you.
No. Well, it was a pleasure. I'm sorry. It took a while for the invite to come through. I can only apologize.
That's all right. I knew it'd come through. I know there's so many YouTubers out there, Star Wars people. It's just such a big. Since we've started, when we started Zelda Star 4 years ago, we've so many people now I know, and I guess you've made, I've made people from you, and you've made more people I know, and it's people know, and it's like because got like that, hasn't it? It's gone crazy.
Well, it's great. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
The amount of people we know, just amount of people we know now through collecting, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
But I mean, you just going back to a part of last week's conversation, Star Wars. Echo Live, the Star Wars, incredible. Absolutely. I don't know you didn't go this time around, but it's just great. You've got loads of like-minded people, and like I say, I don't see why the fandom's got to be so toxic, because there's so much Star Wars now. You can like what you like. You don't have to like everything, and that is not a bad thing. And I will keep trying to hammer this home to bloody idiots out there who are causing shite in the community. Stop it. Pack it in. What's the matter with you? Give it a rest. Anyhow,
pack it in.
Yeah, pack it in. Right. Those of you who stayed to the end, whether you've watched or listened to two old farts going on about Star Wars, reminiscing about the good old days, thank you very much. Really enjoyed it. Well, I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the people who are watching. But
Thanks for watching.
That's gone. I'm gonna go. Take care. Stay safe. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Bye for now.